Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate the fact that you and Ranking Member Flake are continuing to try to oversee all the really unbelievable spending that is going on in this part of the world. Because we so flippantly talk about trillions now where we were talking about billions, I think we really lose sight and can't really comprehend the astounding amount of spending that's going on in this area. And in fact, General Fields mentioned that we'll be up to $50 billion in rebuilding Afghanistan by the end of 2010. In yesterday's Washington Post, it says that the pending 2010 budget has $129 billion budgeted for spending in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Iraq, and for the first time we'll be spending over half of that or more in the Afghanistan-Pakistan region, $68 billion as opposed to $61 billion. No one really can humanly comprehend how much even $1 billion is, and so these are amazing amounts of money that we're talking about. And I certainly have no criticism of any of the witnesses here, because if we're going to be spending that kind of money, we need to have people like this making sure that it is being spent in an honest and not wasteful way. But the point I would like to make is that we shouldn't be spending all this money in the first place. We're spending money that we don't have. Our national debt is reaching $12 trillion now. Nobody can comprehend that kind of figure, but now they're going to have to come to the Congress once again to raise the debt limit once again. It's just unbelievable what we're doing. And I'm saddened that it seems that criticism of these efforts has been limited primarily to liberals until a few days ago. George Will finally started to question some of this, because I have said many times, and I still believe, that fiscal conservatives should be the people most upset, most concerned about all of this amazing spending. It's just mind-boggling in a way. And General Petraeus said a couple of months ago that we need to remember that Afghanistan has been known through the centuries as the graveyard of empires. Now, I'm sure, being the good bureaucrat that he is, though, I don't suppose there's ever been any real spending by the Department of Defense that he's ever really opposed. And that's one thing that I think fiscal conservatives are going to have to realize at some point, that the Defense Department is first and foremost a gigantic bureaucracy, and like any gigantic bureaucracy, it always wants to expand its mission and always wants to get increased funding. Now, I have the greatest respect for those in the military, and I believe that national defense is probably the most important, most legitimate function of a national government. But I also don't think that that means that we just automatically should approve every huge increase and every military adventure that the Defense Department or any other department requests. Because I will go back to what I said a few minutes ago. We're spending money that we don't have, and we're really putting in great jeopardy the future. I used to say of our children and grandchildren, but now I say of ourselves, because I don't believe it's going to be 10 or 15 years before, if that long, before we're not able to pay all of our Social Security and veterans pensions and all the other things we've promised our own people. So I wish all these witnesses well, and I commend you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing. But I think we need to realize that we can't afford to keep doing what we're doing in Afghanistan and Pakistan and keep expanding our mission and increasing our spending over there. We're going to increase our troops to by the end of the year to 68,000, and in all of these areas we're having as many or more civilian contractors than we are military troops, and at some point we've got to come to our senses and realize that we just simply can no longer afford this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan.